What up, y'all? In this video, I'm going to break down a offer I ran last month, did $114 profit per day. I probably worked, no joke, an hour a week on this, maybe less. I put very low effort into it because it's something I kind of launched on a whim a few months ago, and then it did pretty good last month. Not as good as I expected, which we'll go over the actual numbers why that happened, but hopefully this will be very informative if you are starting your first digital offer or if you're trying to do that overall. So let's get into this thing. Hopefully this will be extremely valuable. All right, so section one here, the front end, which is just revenue minus ad spend, did 18,322 in gross revenue, 13,429 in ad spend, at $540 refund, which I believe is like a 3% refund rate, which is really, really good. The net revenue is 16,956. So the final profit is 3,527. You divide that out by 31, made $114 profit a day. On the traffic side, on the ad spend side, we have 10,951, around 11,000 landing page views. Add to cart 664, and then front end purchase 307. So the conversion rate was around 3% on that offer, 2.8%. I'm not going to get into like the exact front end numbers and everything of the price of the stuff, just because why would I do that? But these are going to be the numbers that actually matter. The main takeaway, though, is the front end alone barely justifies the ad spend. And this is not a front end business. It's not just sell one PDF to cold traffic and make unlimited money forever. I wish it was that easy, but it's not. The front end buys the customer, and you make all your money in the upsells and the back end. So now the upsells. So like I said, we have 307 front end purchases, and I added an order bump later in the month. An order bump is when you get to the checkout of a page and there's like, hey, add this to your cart for whatever amount of money. I started that originally at probably 60% of my front end price and then raised it as time went on. But this had a 21% take rate. And I added this in, I think, the 17th of May. So it didn't even run most of May. And it still had a 20% take rate. I think it was around 60%. So I'm playing with pushing that up, which will, push the AOV up. We have 48 OTO1 takers, which I changed my upsell early in the month because I was just schizoing out and thought that it was failing. So I changed it and it went worse. Then I went back to the original one and now it's a lot better. So that rate's probably about 25 to 30%. Downsell 22 people, OTO2 14 people, and then OTO3 5 people. They get into all the percentages there, but pretty high, especially OTO2 coming from, what do we have here, 70 buyers. And so 20% of those people took the second upsell, which is really good. Yeah, you want to shoot for 5 to 15%. If you haven't seen my other videos, I have breakdowns of those. So you can look into that. So overall, 307 people bought the front end. The upsells, the bumps, that turned a break even on the front offer into a profitable one. Every single dollar of margin came from what happened after the first one. I didn't even put the exact numbers here, but I would say that the front end might have even been unprofitable, but it was profitable because of that back end. So everything you add in increases your AOV. That's why you build a full funnel and not a product per se. While many people will tell you, you can get rich selling this individual product, like that's not going to happen unless you're just extremely, extremely good at marketing. You have a really, really good front end product. It's possible. And if it's recurring, that can definitely happen. But just a front end standalone product, very difficult to make that profit. So what did we learn about this and why was this a failure a bit in my mind? I mean, overall, it's not a failure. I made $114 a day profit. That's net revenue into my bank account or net profit into my bank account. And I did nothing like that. My dollar per hour is high on that. I don't even know how much I worked on it. Not often, not much at all. I haven't even touched it this week, for example, and it's like Wednesday or Thursday. But I need to do more, as you're going to see here. The back end was at $0. So my email and follow-up emails, $0 email revenue, which is just like unacceptable. I made nothing because I just didn't even build it. I built an email sequence that was just half-ass, midway through the month when I was adding the bumps and stuff like that, crashing out, trying to change things. But I didn't really put a lot of effort into it. So like this month, I've got to put some effort into making this back end, either sell affiliate products on the back end where I get paid $20, $30, $40 from those, or partner with someone that can do a mid to high ticket back end, or sell my leads to a person with a high ticket program for this kind of niche. I've already started trying to do this, but it's difficult. It's difficult to get people to do it, especially when you don't start with like, hey, I'll build a front end for your offer. Not, hey, I have a front end. Can you like attach to the back end? And this niche I'm in, not the best for that. But I have an email list of, it says 241. I have 307 buyers at least. I really have like 800 sitting there that I'm really not emailing enough. But one email to those 100 buyers, for example, let's say 10% of people take it, which is a high number, to be honest, but 10% of people take it, $470 profit. That's $4.70 per buyer added. You expand that out over like longer and longer periods of time. That's a ton of profit that costs zero. I already paid for these people. They are already customers, man. They're not just people sitting on an email list like that you send a lead mag to. These paid me money, not a substantial amount of money, but decent. It's not $5, it's not $10. It's a higher amount of money. So the money's already sitting there. I'm getting 8 to 15 front ends a day at least. I've just got to go get that revenue. So the big thing to learn here, and what if you're going to start selling a digital product, maybe start from this frame of mind. I've talked about a desperate market. So you need a desperate market. That's number one. A good hook, desperate market. That's number one thing. But you need to keep the back end in mind because these are only so scalable without a back end. I think that $200, $300 profit a day will be the max if you have a really good offer. I've had another offer I run. It did $300 profit a day almost, probably like 250 in February, April, but now it's way down. It's making around 115, 150 bucks a day too. So it's about even on par with this one. But getting one of these at 300 wouldn't be that difficult. It would be just adding in that back end. And there are two options. I had three here, but to be honest, just erased one of them. Mid-ticket offer on the back end, which 500 bucks, 1,000 bucks, just one of those would make up for a ton, or two of those especially. Like that's all profit, 500,000, $1,500 profit. That if I do three, if three people, which is 1% of that list, takes a $500 offer, which is not anything that crazy, that adds 50% to my profit margin. So you see the numbers there, how insane that can be on the back end. So I'm just going to build the back end first. I plan on launching another offer very soon. Maybe I'll document it on here like A to Z, but I'm going to start with the back end. Either start with, okay, I'm going to try to push everyone into a recurring community. And that's what it's going to be all based around. Like they can't even really consume their front end product if they don't have a recurring. You can affiliate for Go High Level. That's a funnel builder type thing. That's like 97 bucks a month. You get a high percentage of that. Maybe something like that. Maybe another community that if I can negotiate a deal, can you give me 50%, 60%? And then I'll build this front end that goes there. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, or building a niche that I'm more familiar with that I can do the hot ticket. Imagine, I mean, if I had a $3,500 offer, I would just get one human being, which is 0.3% out of those to buy a $3,000, $3,500 offer that doubles the entire profit of the month. So you got to think like that. It's not like it's not possible. These 300 people already have paid money. They have money. A lot of them are broke, especially when you're in certain markets, but they will pay if you can solve their problems. So hopefully that was a little learning lesson. If it's hard for you to see how these would work, maybe you're thinking about doing this, how this works in reality of like how you can get to this profit number. And this was me being so lazy. I should have emphasized it even more at the beginning. This is me extremely lazy and making over $100 profit a day, just sitting here doing nothing all month. So very busy month as well. So wasn't extremely focused, but hope this is valuable. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.